plans for the 4th were that Chance, I, Baylee, Tanya, and our kids would all go to South Dakota to Chance's ranch and catfish and celebrate the 4th there. The plans changed at the last minute, and Chance let me know he was going to Nebraska instead.
We are merely narrators of missing people's stories. No one's life is as simple as it seems from the outside looking in. When we first started researching Chance's disappearance, one thing was quite clear. There was only one narrator to his story, and she decides who is allowed to question his disappearance and who is not. We have learned after almost 2 years, she did not just narrate his story after his disappearance. No, it began way before conceiving his child. It started at day 1. She slowly started weaving her sickness into Chance's veins, using his family and friends at her disposal, then turning into the victim when the vixen she portrays becomes invalid. She slowly tried to tear down every relationship that Chance held dear to his heart and made him think she was all that he needed. Who needed friends and family when you had a wife like Baylee? She was all that, was sweet and innocent, wrapped up in a beautiful soul, black soul that is. Then, after his disappearance, the people she so effortlessly tried to remove from Chance's life becomes the wrongdoers once again, but only to those that don't know her. Now her and Chance's child will have to endure the strenuous portrayal of his father's life and disappearance, while being used as a pawn to inflict pain onto the grandparents he may never be allowed to know. The one soul she has not deterred is Matt Miller, Chance's friend. She completely underestimated that kind of friendship, unlike his so-called friend and neighbor, who intentionally or unintentionally, directed by Baylee, removed what could have been an important piece of evidence from Chance's porch. Chance disappeared after a day of golfing at the Chimney Rock Golf Course, a sport Chance simply didn't play. Chance was a bareback rider. He drove derby cars, not golf balls. The story she told is as strange as this disappearance. She said an argument erupted about the pay he would be receiving at his new job compared to the wages paid in Nebraska. Nothing that would have made him mad, even if he was intoxicated, like she and the barmaid proclaimed him to be. If anything, it would have made him feel proud to be making that kind of money. For those who dare to look outside of Baylee's perfect little box, what proof do we have that he was ever at the golf course or the grandparents' home? We know his phone was there by the pings and information provided by Verizon, but was Chance actually there? Do we know if he was ever at the grandparents' house that day? Actually, no. No, we don't. That is the illusion we have been given. But was that a reality? We have seen the 2 letters she wrote for Facebook, putting her son, not yet 6 months old at the time, as the narrator, trying to use a baby's innocence to divert the public's opinion off from her and the unbelievable story she told and her uncaring nature about the fact her husband was missing. This is the kind of mindset this girl has. She did not try to call Chance after daylight on July 7th, 2019. Why? Why would you not call your husband that has not came home? When Matt asked for a piece of clothing with Chance's scent on it, he was denied. Why? We were told she hired a canine team to search for Chance's scent, and it led the canines to Owl Road. How do we know Chance's scent was not planted on Owl Road? It seems Baylee and her mom rode around a lot looking for body dumping grounds, or so they say. We don't know what the truth is anymore, especially after Baylee started selling off some of Chance's memorabilia, but refused to sell it to his family. Why would someone do such a thing? Ask yourself, what would be her reason? Many people have stated they wish if they had to relive Chance's horrific disappearance over, knowing now exactly who Baylee is, where she came from, and where their marriage was headed, Chance may have been found fairly quickly. But instead, everyone hesitated, questioning her true intentions. Have you ever listened to the podcast Baylee participated in with an open mind? The only podcast. Does that sound like a grieving 20-year-old girl with a small baby speaking on that podcast? The giggles and the curse words give her away. Not to mention, she watches Chance walk away. Her words, not mine. after taking the baby in the house, but yet she could not catch up to him in a car. How was it even remotely possible not to see him when there was nothing visibly blocking her vision from only a few feet in the street? Because he was never there? She left immediately, or so she said. Did the grandparents see him get out of the car that day and leave? According to her grandmother, she told a family member, no, she never seen Chance come back to the house that afternoon. Can they truly vouch for their granddaughter? Did she even care about Chance, or was their marriage a lie and fairy tale, just as the lies she told Chance of her actual age when they first met? Was having their child part of a much bigger plan she had manifested in her twisted mind? Her phone log from that night shows exactly how much she cared for him. When Matt talked to Chance, there were no landmarks around that he stayed in. Where was he? What is the probability after arguing with the in-laws, he left walking and a stranger picked him up and caused him harm? A very low probability. What's the probability of him wandering off onto a back road? Many, many minds have created unimaginable adventures Chance had taken that night, but Chance just wanted to go home, and home was the state away. People have been threatened and have had their vehicles tampered with, so they say. The only people that the groups focus on is Baylee and the ones at the golf course that day. Why would someone other than Baylee and people associated with them that day threaten these people if they have not been exposed? They wouldn't. They would let Baylee and the others take the blame. It's not rocket science, people, but providing proof is a whole different story, a story that we may never get. If Chance did meet foul play and someone did take his life, he may never be found, and even if it is true, we may never know. Matt Miller is on a quest to bring his friend home, alive or deceased, because himself, and Chance's family need closure. Everything we think we know really doesn't matter until someone comes forth with information or evidence of Chance's disappearance. Now let's talk about law enforcement for a second. We've all been told that Baylee hired an attorney shortly after Chance disappeared. Why would a detective tell a family friend of the Engleberts that this is not true? What would be the reason for an officer of the law that is supposed to protect and serve lie about this? What would be the reason? If the officer is going to tell false information such as this, what else is he saying? Or more like, what else has he lied about?
Be you.
Maybe this officer needs to get off from TikTok while he's on duty and investigate the issues that he has in Gering, Nebraska. I disagree with that statement. If an officer of the law can go home and shut his mind off with the activities of a case that he's investigating, should that officer really be on that case? For further updates on Chance's case, subscribe to The Missing Truth to receive notifications, like us and leave us a comment, like our Facebook page and join our private Facebook group. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. If you have a family member or friend that is missing and you feel their case has not received enough exposure, please contact themissingtruth1@gmail.com or private message us on our Facebook page. Always remember, some sort of truth remains in a lie. Have a good night.